G'day everyone, Uncle Jojo, warm jigger to a ripper of an episode. Today we're going to talk plaster patching. Patching holes such as this for our plaster work. What we want to make sure of is that we do it properly so we don't have any of those bits where there's lumps and bumps and it looks really ugly in a very short period of time. We want to do it so it's nice and strong. I've seen plenty of things out on the internet and on Tube, etc., where people aren't doing it to really last, they're just doing it as a patch job. And you can do it just as a patch job if you're selling your place, but if you want to do it properly, come and talk with Uncle Joey Jojo. Firstly, we've got the old PowerPoint hole here. I'll show you how I've put that one in. That one was quick and easy. Just so you know, I've put it over. Mark my edges. I've put a screw in it so it's a little bit easier to hold as I put it into place. That's going to be in the wrong place. You don't need to put it in deep, you just need to grab it. So you can see here, there's my little grey mark. That's what we want. Just hold the piece of timber with this screw that you've put in. You want the screw below the surface. The screw that we've put in, we can take out. Put it in here. We can hold that. We don't want this to push in too far when we screw this other piece in, because otherwise it'll rip this screw out. That's what we don't want. Okay, so we're good. So take this one out. We want to give the edges a scrape. So it's nice and flat. Then what we do is we get a piece of plaster, something that's got a nice edge on it. If it doesn't have a nice edge, cut a nice edge. I like to angle my plaster just slightly backwards so nothing gets in the way of the edges. I can put that there and I can see this needs to be cut here and across here. If it's nice and tight. That's what we want. Then we'll put a couple of screws in that. Okay, then we'll put some gauze tape over that. Also known as easy tape. So we'll just go we want to try and cover the screws wherever we can, and we want to go past about 15 mil. You got the first two screws, you didn't get the second two screws, but that's good. That's good. So what we'll do now is we'll make up a corner cement. We'll stack that over. But before we do that, just come and check out this one, which we can do just with the gauze. If this hole is small enough, we should be able to just put a piece of gauze over the top of that and then just finish that off. First thing, just make sure it's nice and flat. If it's not flat, we can run round with a Stanley and just clean up the edges if need be. Now we won't need much, but we need some good plaster that'll go off fairly quick. So we'll just lick the bottom with a bit of water. Bit for that. A bit for me. Just a smidgen bit of corner cement. You can use corner cement or base coat if we're only just making up a little bit. Now the idea is to get this just like a thick whipped cream. That's the idea, thick whipped cream. If we're only using a little bit, we would rather it a little bit thicker than a little bit thinner. Thinner's going to run away. We don't want the plaster to run away from us, we want it to stay where we put it. So we'd rather make it just a little bit thicker. Now the beauty of this will be that this will go off fairly quickly, and because it's corner cement, it'll be quite hard as well. When you're doing it, just run the spatula over it a few times, get out any lumps or bumps or inconsistencies. Last thing we want is lumps and bumps in our plaster. Now a really good little secret with this is we actually want to flex the blade. Now that's good. We don't want to play with it any more than we need to, so we'll leave that one like that. Let's move to the other one. Now because there's nothing behind this one, we want to make sure that we fill all the nooks and the crannies, because that's what's going to bind it together. Here we are with the top coat, so we'll just run that through the spatula. We'll use a bigger spatula this time. Just run over the base coat. You want to make sure you cover as much of the other one as possible. And get right into those corners wherever you can. If you've got things that are foreign in it, then please try your best to get them out. You don't want to try and get them out later. And then we'll let that dry, and then we'll actually go over that with the sander and just sand that up, and then that'll come, we'll blend it in, feather it into the whole wall. Same thing on the other side with the other one. So now we will let that dry. Tomorrow we'll come back, we'll sand it, and that'll be gone. That one over there will be gone, and then we'll be smack on. And all of that kind of jazz next week. So stay tuned, and like always, stay unreal banana peels. I'll see you in the Sooooo.